The Buddha once taught that hatred is like a fire that burns the heart of the person holding it first. If we don't learn how to let go of karma, we will remain forever bound in the cycle of suffering. Letting go doesn't mean escaping or abandoning things, but learning how to put down unnecessary burdens. It's like the story of the monk carrying the girl across the river. He put the girl down on the river bank, but the student kept carrying her in his mind. We are the same way. There are things that have passed, yet we carry them forever. There are people who have left, yet we still hold on only to be constantly exhausted. Letting go is knowing how to stop, knowing how to breathe, knowing how to tell yourself that the matter has passed. Let it go. When we let go, the soul becomes lighter, and our steps become more leisurely. And it is precisely when we keep virtue and let go of karma that we step toward the ultimate goal, living a life of inner peace. Inner peace and mean is not living in a world without turmoil, but maintaining calmness in the heart when turmoil arrives. Amidst praise and criticism, we still smile. Between gain and loss, we still feel lighthearted. Between success or failure, we still maintain balance. I have a friend who failed heavily in his work, lost all his capital, and piled up debt. He said back then he thought his life was over, but then he realized if he viewed it as karma, a lesson he had to pay for, he would no longer be resentful. Indeed, just a few years later, he rebuilt his life not only to be more solid, but also calmer than before, because he learned how to be at peace in adversity. Inner peace is also knowing how to cherish every moment of the present. A simple meal with family, an afternoon sitting and watching the clouds drift, a smile shared with friends that is true happiness. There are people who spend their whole lives chasing success and money, but ultimately still feel empty. Meanwhile, there are those who live simply, know what is enough, and find joy in every little thing. Just like drinking coffee, if we only focus on staring at the cup, we will miss the rich flavor of the coffee. Life is the same. Enjoy its flavor. Don't just look at the external things. Keep virtue. Let go of karma. Live in peace. That is not only Buddhist philosophy, but also a compass for modern life. In the family, keeping virtue is being exemplary parents. Letting go of karma is not nitpicking small faults. And living in peace is knowing how to cherish every moment of being together. In work, keeping virtue is working transparently. Letting go of karma is not competing meaninglessly. And living in peace is knowing how to work with all your heart without being bound by the result. In society, keeping virtue is living kindly. Letting go of karma is not nurturing hatred, and living in peace is building a peaceful world together. A human life, in the end, is not long. No one knows what tomorrow will be like. The important thing is not how much we have achieved, but how we have lived. Keep virtue so your character is bright. Let go of karma so your soul is light, and live in peace so that every passing day is a day worth living. When we live like that, happiness is no longer something far away, but is present right in every breath, every smile, every leisurely step through life. Life is a short journey, like a flower blooming in the early morning and fading when the afternoon falls, like a cloud drifting lazily in the vast sky. All the hustling, gaining, losing, and winning, when considered till the end, will also vanish with time. Only the character we cultivated, the love we gave, and the impression we left in the hearts of those who passed through our lives remain. The ancients once taught, keep virtue let go of karma, live a life of inner peace. Hearing it, you might think there are three separate parts, but actually there are three rungs of a ladder connecting to each other. Three layers of meaning attached to the flow of life. Keeping virtue is the root, letting go of karma is the path, and inner peace is the destination. Keeping virtue is the first foundation of a human life. Virtue is not lofty words, but the way we live kindly in every small deed. It is filial piety to parents, faithfulness in relationships, sincerity in communication, and honesty in work. A person with virtue does not oppress the weak for benefit, does not lie for fame, and does not forget gratitude for immediate gain. Keeping virtue, sowing good seeds into the soul of the soul so that from there the tree of character grows firmly. There is a story told that a wealthy merchant usually kept his word in business and had never deceived a customer. Once, during a large shipment, he discovered a part was defective, which could cause him a heavy loss if exchanged or returned, but he still decided to tell the truth and accepted paying compensation. People at that time called him foolish, but later, precisely thanks to that honesty, customers trusted him, and his business became increasingly prosperous. That shows wealth can be lost, but virtue will blossom and bear fruit, bringing long-term blessings. But keeping virtue alone is not enough because humans often carry invisible burdens, resentments, mistakes, and obsessions from the past. They form karma that makes the mind heavy and the shoulders sag. Letting go of karma is the next step to walking lightly. Karma is not just the result of evil actions, but also negative thoughts and sad attachments that we stubbornly hold onto. There was a young man who went to see a Zen master complaining that he was too miserable because of past pains and worries for the future. The Zen master silently handed him a cup that was already full of water and then continued pouring more. The hot water overflowed, burning the young man, making him startle and let go, and the cup fell and broke. At that moment, the master slowly said, "The cup is your mind. It is already full of worries, yet you still try to hold more. It is no different than hurting yourself. Learn to let go of some. That simple story is the proof. When the mind is too full, only by putting it down is there room for peace to reside. Life is like a breeze passing over a meadow. As soon as it exists, it hurriedly vanishes into the endless flow of time. We are often busy running after fame and profit, hustling to win and lose, hoping to find some satisfaction, only to look back and be startled to realize that a human life, in the end, is not long. No one knows what tomorrow will be like, nor can anyone be certain that what they are holding will exist forever. Therefore, the important thing is not how much we have achieved, but how we have lived. How to live so the soul has no regrets. How to live so that when looking back, our hearts are still as light as clouds, as peaceful as the wind. And the teaching of the ancients: keep virtue, let go of karma, live a life of inner peace is the key to opening that door of peace. Keeping virtue is the root of character, the foundation for each person to stand firm in life. Virtue is not something too lofty, but is present in every small daily action. A sincere word, a handshake full of goodwill, a concession during an argument. A person with virtue is someone who knows how to live true to their conscience, knowing how to place love and fairness above personal gain. I once knew a carpenter back in the countryside. All his life he only made simple tables and chairs. Ever making fake wood or poor quality goods to earn extra money? Someone asked him, "Nowadays people cheat a lot. If you live honestly, will you be at a disadvantage?" He just smiled, "A little disadvantage, but I sleep well. My heart is at peace." It was that keeping of virtue that made him respected by the whole village. People came to order goods not only because the furniture was sturdy, but also because of the trust placed in his character. Indeed, keeping virtue is keeping the light that guides the way for oneself and for others. It is the root so that life does not tilt before the storm, but just keeping virtue is not enough because in the journey being human, every one of us gets entangled in karmic ties from wrong habits in the past to resentments and attachments in the present. If we don't know how to let go, we will remain forever bound by invisible ropes, making the soul heavy. Letting go of karma doesn't mean evading responsibility, but learning how to acknowledge, take responsibility, and then gently put it down. A friend once told me the story of his own life. He opened his own company. One wrong investment left him empty-handed and piled with debt. There were times he wanted to abandon everything, sinking into blaming fate. But then, instead of tormenting himself, he chose to view it as a lesson, a karmic result he had to pay. He said, "When I let go of the resentment, my heart became lighter. I viewed that failure as an expensive lesson." Thanks to letting go, he had the motivation to stand up. A few years later, he rebuilt his fortune, but more importantly, his soul had matured and was calmer than before. Looking at him, I believe even more that letting go is not losing, but opening up a new space for faith and happiness to reside. And when we have kept virtue and learned to let go of karma, we will reach the destination of the journey, living a life of inner peace. Inner peace does not mean a life without storms, but that amidst those storms, our hearts still maintain calmness. Amidst winning and losing, we do not waver. Amidst gossip, we do not resent. Amidst loss, we still keep a smile. I remember once visiting a small temple on a mountain. The old monk there lived very simply, eating only vegetables, planting trees, and chanting sutras every day. Someone asked the teacher, "Are you sad living away from the luxury of the city, only circling around this desolate mountain and forest?" The teacher smiled. "Sadness or joy is not due to the scenery, it is due to one's own mind. I see the sunlight shining through the leaves, hear the birds singing, and that is enough happiness." The teacher's inner peace comes from a serene inner self, from the letting go of all calculations, keeping only compassion. Likewise, if each of us knows how to be satisfied with what we have, knows how to slow down to enjoy the breath of the present, then happiness is no longer something far away, but is present right here in the family. Keeping virtue as parents, setting an example for children. Letting go of karma is forgiving small conflicts, and living in peace is the warm feeling when the whole family knows how to love and cherish each other. In work, keeping virtue is working transparently, not cheating. Letting go of karma is not nitpicking petty rivalries, and living in peace is the feeling of satisfaction when we have tried our best. In society, keeping virtue is living kindly, not harming anyone. Letting go of karma is knowing how to yield, not engaging in meaningless disputes, and living in peace is the harmonious space that we contribute to creating. Anywhere, those three elements are closely linked, supporting each other like a tripod helping life become steady. People often say happiness is a journey, not a destination. But if that journey lacks virtue, doesn't know how to let go, then no matter where we go, our hearts will still be full of insecurity. Keeping virtue is sowing good seeds. Letting go of karma is weeding out the wild grass. And living in peace is the season of flowers and fruits blooming. No one is born already at peace. It is the result of training. Knowing how many times we practice letting go, practice patience, practice living sincerely. Life is short, like a flower blooming and then fading, like a cloud flying across the sky. All the hustling, gaining, and losing, when considered till the end, will also vanish with the years. What remains is the character we cultivated, the love we gave, and the peace we found for ourselves. So if possible, live a life keeping virtue so your character is bright. Let go of karma so your soul is light, and live in peace so that every passing day is a day worth living. When we live like that, happiness is nowhere far but exists right in every breath, every smile, every leisurely step through life. There are things in life that the more stubbornly we try to hold, the tighter we hug them in our hearts, the heavier our steps become. Letting go of karma doesn't mean turning your back on responsibility or denying life. On the contrary, letting go is a journey full of mindfulness. It is knowing how to forgive so our hearts can be at peace, knowing how to accept so we stop tormenting ourselves, and knowing how to look at suffering as a lesson to help us mature. Sometimes what we need to learn in life is not how to hold on, but how to put down. There are people who spend their whole lives hugging a grudge, living as if walking against the wind. The more they try to step, the more the wind knocks them down, making both body and mind exhausted. I once met a woman over 50 who had been divorced for more than 10 years, but never stopped resenting her ex-husband. Every time he was mentioned, she cried again, got angry again, as if the wound had never closed. It was that clinging that made her unable to open her heart to anyone else, nor did she have enough peace to enjoy the present. The hatred became a prison, and she locked herself in it. On the contrary, there are also people who, after experiencing hurt, chose to forgive. They don't forget, but they put it down to live on. A friend of mine once confided that forgiveness isn't because the other person deserves it, but because I need to be free. And truly, since the day that friend let go, their smile became lighter, and life opened up to many new joys. Forgiveness is not condoning the wrong, but opening the door to liberate oneself. The Buddha once taught that everything in the world is impermanent. Hatred, if nurtured, only increases karmic obstacles, making us forever circle in the cycle of painful suffering. But forgiveness is the path leading to peace, because when the mind no longer has attachments, is no longer stuck on things that have passed, we are truly free. There are people who have experienced huge losses, like losing a loved one, being betrayed, or meeting bitter failure. Those pains do not fade easily, but if we stubbornly hold on to them all our lives, life will sink into darkness. Conversely, when we learn to accept, to turn pain into a part of our luggage, the wound gradually becomes strength. A person who lost a child in a traffic accident chose to establish a charity fund to help families in similar circumstances. Instead of sinking into suffering, they turned pain into motivation to share. That is also a form of letting go of karma, transforming what once made us collapse into an opportunity to mature and do useful things. In life, we often mistakenly think that forgiving is giving an advantage to the one who hurt us. But the truth is forgiveness is first and foremost for ourselves. Because when we hold on to hatred, the person who suffers the most is ourselves. Like a hand grasping a sharp thorn, the tighter you squeeze, the more it bleeds. Only when you let go does the wound have a chance to heal. Forgiveness doesn't change the past, but it changes the present and the future. When we know how to forgive, we open up a new space for ourselves, a place where there is no resentment, but where we can sow seeds of love. Letting go of karma is also stopping the blaming of oneself. There are people who live their whole lives in torment because of past mistakes. They blame themselves, torture themselves, and don't give themselves a chance to stand up. But the truth is, who in life hasn't made a mistake once? Mistakes are not to be buried tight in the past, but to be learned from and changed. A colleague of mine once did business, lost money, and lost all his capital. At first, he sank into an inferiority complex, dared not meet anyone, and even thought of death many times. But then he chose to stand up, draw lessons from failure to start over from the beginning. Today, he has a small but stable job, and more importantly, he has found peace in his mind again. He said if he kept blaming himself forever, he would have no road left to walk. Letting go of mistakes is opening an exit for oneself. Looking back, we see that life is inherently short. We come to this world empty-handed and leave empty-handed. Keeping resentment or torment only makes that journey heavier. Letting go is choosing to walk lightly, so that when looking back, we don't feel regret for having lived in anger and ignorance. Just like a person carrying luggage, if they try to hug everything, they won't get far. Only when knowing how to discard what is unnecessary does the road become spacious. Letting go of karma is also learning to look at life with eyes of empathy. When we understand that everyone has their own suffering, everyone has times of error, we will find it easier to forgive. The person who hurts us, sometimes they themselves are hurt by circumstances, by ignorance, by the domination of karmic force. Understanding this, we feel our hearts become lighter. Instead of blaming, we can choose to let go so as not to sow more hatred. This doesn't mean we accept the wrong, but that we keep our minds from being muddied. There is a saying that he who sows the wind will reap the whirlwind. The law of cause and effect is inherently fair. No one can escape it. Therefore, we don't need to hug hatred to make ourselves miserable. Let time and cause and effect do their work. Our job is to live better every day, nurture compassion, and preserve inner peace in the soul. When the heart is at peace, life automatically becomes more pleasant. In modern life, humans face countless pressures: work, family, relationships. Sometimes just one harsh word can make us agonizingly obsessed for many days. But instead of letting ourselves fall into that cycle, we can train ourselves in the habit of forgiveness and letting go. One time overlooking is one time the heart is lighter. One time smiling instead of getting angry is one time we gain more strength. Forgiveness, in the end, is the way we choose happiness instead of suffering. Life inherently spares no one from wounds, but the important thing is how we face them. Some choose to live forever with the wound so it bleeds every day. Others choose to let that wound heal, to then look at it as a mark that helped them mature. When we know how to forgive, When we know how to let go, we are stitching up the cracks in our hearts ourselves, and from there, we will see life as no longer a series of heavy days, but a beautiful journey where we can smile serenely amidst so many storms. Letting go of karma, in the end, is an art of living. It doesn't demand we forget immediately, nor force us to become a different person overnight. Letting go is a whole process, day by day, bit by bit, like gradually untying knots in the mind. Today, let go of a little anger. Tomorrow, let go of a little resentment. Gradually, the heart becomes larger, lighter, and at that time, we will realize that happiness has never been far. It is right in the way we look at life, and the choice to let go so the heart can be at peace. Because ultimately, forgiveness is not just to liberate others, but to liberate ourselves. We don't forgive because they deserve it, but because we deserve peace. And only when we learn this do we truly touch the freedom of the soul, a freedom not imprisoned by hatred, not bound by the past, but opening a path of inner peace, gently passing through the short years of a human life. In life, it is not rare to see people who are wealthy, holding much property in their hands, but whose hearts are always insecure. Afraid of losing what they have, they live in defense, suspicion, and fatigue because they always have to protect external things. Conversely, there are also simple people who don't have many assets, but always smile serenely, their eyes full of peaceful joy. The difference does not lie in circumstances, but lies in the mindset. Because if the mind is chaotic, 10,000 things are upside down. But if the mind is at peace, 10,000 things are at peace. This sounds simple at first, but is a profound lesson for each person to ponder throughout a lifetime. There was a poor old woman living in the village. Every day she only sold a bundle of vegetables at the market to make a living. People asked her, "Grandma, do you suffer?" She smiled, "I do suffer, but I still have hands to work, feet to walk, and a heart to love." That is enough. That simple smile moved many people. In her eyes, there was no resentment of fate, only gratitude for what she still had. So even though life was still full of hardship, her mind was still at peace, her smile still bright as the morning sun. Happiness turns out not to come from how much you have, but from knowing what is enough, from a heart wide open to life. In today's society, when the pace of life gets faster, and everyone is absorbed in chasing goals, examples like that old woman are a silent but profound reminder. The rich may sit in magnificent houses, but the fear of loss, dispute, and invisible insecurities always surround them. The poor may sit on the porch of a thatched roof house, having only simple meals of rice and vegetables. Yet their hearts are light because they have nothing to lose, only love to give. Let us ask ourselves, what is truly precious? There is a story told about a king who, despite holding the whole world in his hands, still lost sleep every night fearing someone plotting treason. Meanwhile, a farmer in his kingdom, after a tiring day of work, lay down under a thatched roof and still slept a peaceful sleep. People said to the king, "Your Majesty has the whole world, but does not have the good night sleep of a poor citizen. That is proof that inner peace cannot be bought with money or power. It only blooms from a serene soul that knows how to live fully in every moment." In reality, many people fall into the trap of greed. They believe that when they have more money, status, and affection, they will be happier. But the more they have, the more insecure they become, like a person hugging a heavy bundle of firewood on their shoulder. The farther they walk, the more tired they get. True happiness sometimes only comes when we know how to put down that bundle of firewood, know how to let go of excessive ambitions, and return to cherishing the present. I remember a friend who used to work in a high-pressure environment with a very large income, but his face was always gloomy, worried, and his health declined. After an incident, he decided to give it up and return to the countryside to open a small shop and live with his elderly parents. He said, "Now I don't have much money, but I feel peace in my heart. In the morning, brewing a pot of tea, looking at the yellow flowers in front of the alley, I feel life is full." Others listening might think he lost an opportunity, but to him, that was finding himself again. When the mind is at peace, everything is at peace. That is not a slogan, but an experience anyone can verify. When our hearts are in turmoil, we feel insecure no matter where we are. Conversely, when our hearts are calm, even in the noisiest place, we can still feel a private silence. Happiness has never depended entirely on external circumstances, but depends on how we look and how we live. One of the secrets to nurturing a peaceful mind is gratitude. A grateful person easily finds joy in small things. A simple meal turns delicious when we eat with gratitude. An ordinary morning becomes memorable when we open our hearts to receive the sunlight and the sound of birds singing. Like the old woman selling vegetables, she didn't deny the hardship, but she was grateful because she still had hands, feet, and a heart. That gratitude is the seed that makes inner peace blossom. It also needs to be said that being at peace doesn't mean being indifferent or leaving things to fate. It is not avoiding responsibility, but having steadfastness in the mind. Even if there are fluctuations in the outside world, one still maintains a realm of peace inside. Like a sturdy tree root amidst a strong wind, leaves may fall, branches may shake, but the roots still cling tightly to the earth. A person at peace is someone who knows where their roots lie, knows what is the core to preserve, and what are the frivolities that can be let go of. A Zen master once said, "The mind is like a lake surface. When the wind blows, the lake water ripples, and nothing can be seen clearly. But when the wind is still, the lake surface is calm, and the sky is reflected perfectly." The human mind is the same when delusions, worries, and greed, hatred are too much, we see nothing clearly. But when the mind is quiet, when we know how to let go, we see the truth of life. That happiness is not far away, but right in the very present moment. In relationships, keeping peace is also keeping happiness. There are wealthy families that argue frequently because everyone wants to have the upper hand, because no one is willing to yield. But there are also poor families gathering around a simple meal still full of laughter, because they choose affection instead of winning, and losing, choose empathy instead of blame. Inner peace is not the absence of suffering, but not letting suffering overwhelm love. And then, looking back, we will see that people who live in peace often leave a deep impression in the hearts of others, not because they are brilliantly successful, but because they spread peace, making others feel comfortable and relieved when near them, like the smile of the old woman selling vegetables. It doesn't make life stop being hard, but it lights up faith, making the person opposite feel a very real kind of happiness. Finally, the important thing does not lie in how much wealth we have or how luxurious a house we live in, but whether our mind is at peace or not. Because when the mind is at peace, life will have less jostling, less fear, and we will learn how to enjoy each day as a gift, just like wildflowers growing on a cliff, needing no one to care for them, but still giving off fragrance. Humans can also live in peace amidst life. Just need to know enough, know how to let go, and know how to love. Ultimately, living in peace is not going to find a happy land somewhere far away, but a journey of returning to oneself. When we learn to keep virtue pure, let go of resentment, and nurture gratitude, then whether rich or poor, whether in favorable or adverse circumstances, we can smile serenely, and that gentle but deep smile is the most beautiful proof that true happiness has been present within us for a long time. Looking back, we see that keeping virtue, letting go of karma, and living in peace are a continuous flow. Having virtue makes the mind bright, knowing how to let go makes the heart light, and thanks to that, one can be at peace. These three things are not distant theories, but are things that can be practiced in every ordinary moment. A kind word, an act of forgiveness, a smile of acceptance. Life is very short. Don't let resentment or hustling make your steps heavy. When we close our eyes and let our hands drop, we don't bring wealth along, only the blessings and smiles we have sown. So choose to live so that every day has meaning. Keep virtue firm as the root. Learn to let go of karma, delight in the heart, and find your way to inner peace to open your soul. At that time, though life is full of waves, our hearts remain like a still autumn lake, reflecting the clear clouds and sky. And when passing through this short human life, we will feel our hearts as light as clouds, as peaceful as the wind, happiness like a flower blooming in the soul. Keeping virtue has been considered the most important foundation for being human for thousands of years. The ancients often said, "If you have virtue, you can eat without end," meaning virtue brings natural abundance. That sentence is not advising people to give up and leave it to fate, but to remind us that all blessings in life originate from character, from the kind lifestyle we sow. Wealth, power, or fame may make a person stand out for a moment, but if lacking virtue, it is all just like a castle built on sand. A strong wind is enough to wash it away. Conversely, a person who lives sincerely keeps their word, even if their daily life is simple and assets not many. The blessings they leave for life are eternal, spreading through the years. Keeping virtue is first of all keeping a pure soul for oneself, not letting greed, jealousy, or hatred obscure reason. Greed makes people forever chase things that are never enough, like chasing a shadow. The more you try to grasp, the further away it gets. Jealousy makes us small in our own hearts, looking everywhere and seeing only injustice and lack. Hatred makes the mind chaotic, actions out of control, creating more suffering for oneself and others. A person who maintains a pure soul knows how to let go of petty calculations will naturally find life more peaceful. I used to know a neighbor, an uncle who traded small goods at the market all his life. He wasn't wealthy, nor did he have anything materially outstanding, but he was famous throughout the neighborhood for his uprightness and honesty. For decades of selling, he never overcharged, never cheated, and never raised his voice at anyone. People liked coming to his place not because the goods were abundant, but because of the peace of mind when trading with a person with a pure heart. At the end of his life, he didn't leave much wealth, but he left the affection and respect of a whole community. Perhaps that is the priceless asset. because money will eventually be lost, but trust and respect will remain forever. In modern life, humans are increasingly swept away by the fast pace of life, busy running after fame, benefits, and money. In that spin, sometimes we forget two simple but extremely important words: keeping virtue. People are busy finding ways to rise, finding ways to win. Some even don't hesitate to use tricks, deceit, or cause harm to others to seek benefits for themselves. However, the result of that deceit is usually just something fleeting, like a tree growing on barren land. It may grow fast thanks to chemical fertilizers, but as soon as the storm comes, it easily breaks. Meanwhile, a person living with virtue is like an ancient tree with roots deep in the earth, spreading its canopy to shade life. Despite rain and storms, that tree stands firm and proud, because its strength comes not only from the appearance outside, but from the deep core inside. Keeping virtue is first of all keeping sincerity. It is not great, lofty things, but starts from the smallest deeds. A promise kept, a selfless help, a kind action in everyday life, all contribute to building the word virtue. Someone once said, "The gentleman keeps his word. The petty man keeps the profit." The difference between those two types of people sometimes lies only there. Do we place trust or profit first? A person living with virtue will choose trust because they understand that money lost can be earned back, but credibility, once lost, is hard to compensate for. I remember a big businessman recounting a story from his startup days. He accepted a loss, even selling personal assets to keep his promise to deliver goods to customers. Many people thought he was foolish, but it was that keeping of his word that made customers trust him absolutely, and from there his business grew. Thus, the root of long-term success lies not in temporary tricks or cleverness, but in sustainable virtue. Keeping virtue is also knowing how to think for others, not doing things that harm them just to satisfy one's own private gain. In modern life, sometimes we see heartbreaking stories. Fake food, poor quality medicine, fraudulent products sold because of greed for immediate profit. But the consequences left behind are collapsed trust and piled up bad karma. Conversely, there are people silently keeping virtue, contributing to the community. I once read a story about a doctor in the Highlands for over 30 years attached to the local people. Although the income was meager, he never abandoned any patient. He lived simply, devotedly, many times using his own money to buy medicine for poor patients. To him, happiness did not lie in accumulated wealth, but in the joy of saving a life, in the grateful eyes of the people around him. That is the proof that keeping virtue is the greatest capital of a human life. Virtue is not only for how we treat others, but also for ourselves. Keeping virtue is keeping a straight heart, not deceiving oneself, not doing things that one will regret when looking back later. A person living with virtue often has inner peace because they don't have to worry about hiding wrongdoings, don't fear the judgmental eyes of the world. At night they can sleep peacefully knowing that the past day they lived cleanly. There is a story that an honest mandarin in the old days went on night patrol. The villagers saw the light and quickly hid in proper things, but when he passed by, everyone still welcomed him because they trusted that the mandarin only wanted to bring justice. Keeping virtue, therefore, not only creates respect in others, but also brings serenity to one's own soul. Modern life often causes people to lose faith, gossip, deceit. Endless races of winning and losing can make the human heart confused and worried. But in that very chaos, those who keep virtue become guiding lights, like a lighthouse in the night sea. Even if storms surround it, that light still shines, helping many boats find their way to shore. People who keep virtue are not noisy, not ostentatious, but their influence spreads enduringly. A teacher devoted to students, a janitor devoted to keeping the street clean, a friend keeping an appointment despite difficult circumstances. All are expressions of virtue. Some will ask, does keeping virtue bring practical benefits in a fiercely competitive society? The answer is yes. But that benefit is not always visible immediately. It is not momentary wealth, but long-term trust, sustainable reputation, and the sincere affection others have for us. An ancient tree doesn't grow up in just one day, but when it is firmed, it exists for hundreds of years, shading many generations. Humans are the same. Keeping virtue is sowing seeds, so that one day we harvest the flowers and fruits of trust, respect, and peace. A human life in the end. No one brings alone wealth, status, or fame when leaving this world. What remains is only how we lived, what we gave. There are people who pass through our lives leaving a bad reputation, leaving alienation. There are also people who pass through our lives leaving good marks, leaving memories of love and respect. And that difference lies in the two words keeping virtue. When we keep virtue, we live true to moral principles, live fully with our conscience, so that no matter where we go, we leave good seeds for life amidst the vortex of modern society. Keeping virtue is the way for us to keep ourself, keep our inner peace. Virtue is the root, the foundation, the deep root nourishing the soul. Even if fame comes and goes, even if benefits change, once we have kept virtue, we will have a solid fulcrum to pass through all storms. Live like an ancient tree in life, rooting deep with virtue, spreading wide with benevolence, and quietly giving shade to life. That is a meaningful life, a life that, when looking back, we can smile serenely. On a business trip, I met an elderly taxi driver. Throughout the journey, he chatted happily, sharing many life stories. When arriving, I accidentally handed him a bill larger than the fare. He immediately returned it and carefully reminded me, "You must pay attention. If you meet a bad person, you'll lose out." I remember forever those gentle eyes and words. Perhaps many people would think that a bit of extra money is insignificant, but for him, cleanliness and honesty were more important than anything. A small action, but showing a great character. A person living with virtue is also someone who knows how to be tolerant, who in life hasn't made a mistake. But if we only focus on remembering others' faults, we will find our hearts cramped and heavy. On the contrary, knowing how to forgive, knowing how to look at the good points, we not only lighten others' hearts, but also lighten our own. Tolerance is also an expression of virtue because it shows a large soul, not imprisoned by hatred. I once read a story about a father with an addicted son. The son disappointed him many times, even stealing money from the house. But instead of abandoning him, he patiently advised and found every way to save his son. People asked why he didn't give up. He just smiled. "If I turn my back, who does he have left?" I still believe that one day he will change, Finally, the son successfully quit his addiction and said that it was his father's love, patience, and tolerance that helped him rise. That is the power of virtue, not harshness, but benevolence that can resolve mistakes. Keeping virtue is not something far away or lofty, but starts from very simple things. Not coveting lost property, not lying for profit, not doing things that harm others. From there, the soul gradually becomes bright, words become upright, actions become righteous. When living with virtue, we sow good seeds into life, and, like the law of cause and effect, which is inherently fair, sooner or later, we will receive sweet fruit not only for ourselves, but also for future generations. A wealthy life will eventually vanish with time. What remains is how we lived, the heart we left in others. Money and material things cannot go with us when we close our eyes, but virtue will echo in the memories of those who stay. Keeping virtue is keeping the truest and most enduring value of human life. Therefore, in the hurried stream of life, let's remind ourselves to stop a bit to examine the soul. Have we lived truly, purely, sincerely? Have we known how to be tolerant? Don't let greed, jealousy, or hatred blur the light of conscience, because once virtue is kept, the heart will be at peace. Life will be at peace, and only then do we truly live a life worth living, simple but profound, ordinary but enduring, quiet but leaving light in the hearts of others. In life, perhaps every one of us has gone through periods when the heart is heavy as if carrying a rock, just because of things that have passed, people who have left, or resentments and blame that cannot yet be soothed. The more we think, the more tired we feel. The tighter we hold, the more we suffer. That is the karma we create for ourselves, not only from wrong actions in the past, but also from the very habit of nurturing affliction every day. The Buddha once taught that hatred is like a fire that first burns the heart of the person holding it. That saying clearly pointed out the root of suffering, not external circumstances, but our own mind not knowing how to let go. Letting go of karma, therefore, is not just a philosophical concept, but a vital lesson for each of us to find peace again. There is a story often mentioned about an old monk and a student. When crossing a river together, they met a girl who dared not wade through the strong current. The monk did not hesitate to carry her across to the bank, and then quietly continued the journey. But the student was troubled forever, thinking his teacher broke the precept. Finally, the monk smiled and said, "I put that girl down on the river bank already. Why are you still carrying her until now?" That simple but profound answer reveals a truth. Many times we are the ones who refuse to put it down, refuse to let go, and then turn our own hearts into a burden. We keep carrying sad memories, hurtful words, failures of yesterday, like the student carrying the image of the girl. Well, in reality, it no longer exists. In life, karma comes not only from malicious actions, but also from every fit of anger, every instance of selfishness, every minute of calculation and nitpicking. Every time we lose our temper, it's like adding a stone to a backpack that is already heavy. Every time we blame or complain, we tighten the rope binding us to suffering. Conversely, every time we know how to forgive, know how to overlook, is a time we put down a burden. Letting go is not forgetting completely, but learning to smile at things that have passed, viewing it as a lesson instead of a wound. A friend of mine went through a major incident in her marriage. Her husband betrayed her leaving her alone to raise a small child. At first, she sank into hatred, complaining all day, blaming heaven and people. She said, "Just mentioning that name makes my whole body tremble with anger." But then over time, she found meditation and Buddhism. She learned to sit still, breathe deeply, and remind herself, "I have suffered enough. Nurturing hatred only burns myself." Gradually, she let go. She no longer sought revenge, no longer brought up the old story, but focused on raising her child and doing the work she loved. Now she lives more lightly. Her smile has returned. She said letting go was not to forgive that person, but to love herself. Life is inherently short. Every passing day is a day that does not return. If we keep imprisoning ourselves in sorrow and resentment, we are wasting the precious days of a human life. Many people think that holding on to anger is a way to protect self-esteem, to not forget what others did to them. But essentially, anger only exhausts us, while the other person sometimes doesn't even care. So forgiveness is not accepting the wrong, but liberating oneself from the vicious cycle of suffering. Sometimes letting go of karma also means knowing how to accept the impermanence of life. A flower blooms and then fades. A love comes and then goes. An opportunity is had and then lost. All are natural laws. If we try to hold on forever, we will never be at peace. Just like holding a handful of sand, the tighter you squeeze, the more sand falls from your hand. Loosen up, and you hold more. Letting go of karma is just like that. Not clinging, not attaching. Letting the soul be light like a floating cloud. In work too, some people always calculate, envy colleagues, asking themselves why they do so much, but aren't recognized, why others are promoted and they aren't. Those resentments accumulate into karma, making oneself tired. But if knowing how to let go, viewing work as an opportunity to train, the mind will suffer less. I once met a colleague who was always cheerful, even though he often had to shoulder others' work. When I asked, he just smiled. Every time I do extra, I consider it learning a new skill. As for fairness or not, that is their karma, not mine. It was that attitude of letting go that made him loved by many. And finally, when a real opportunity came, he was the one chosen for promotion. On social media today, we also see clearly the importance of letting go of karma. People easily utter criticism, judgment, and arguments. If we also get swept into that vortex, responding with anger, it is no different than staining ourselves with more karma. Sometimes the best way to let go is silence. Silence not because of weakness, but because we are strong enough not to be dragged into unnecessary scandals. Enduring in silence is also a way of letting go to keep the heart pure. The Buddha once said, "When we let go, we have everything," because letting go is dropping the things that make us heavy to make room for good things to come, like a room full of dust. If we don't clean it, there will never be space for light to flood, and the soul is the same. If we don't let go of resentment and greed, joy and peace can never stay long. Letting go of karma is a journey, not a moment. We cannot drop all sorrows overnight, but bit by bit, we can practice the habit of putting down. When someone makes us angry, try taking a deep breath instead of reacting immediately. When a sad memory rushes back, try smiling and reminding yourself that it has passed. When an excessive ambition makes us lose sleep, ask yourself if this is truly necessary for your happiness. Each time like that is a step forward on the path of letting go. Finally, letting go of karma is not only for our souls to be light, but also so we can open our hearts to receive love. When no longer obscured by hatred, we can look at others with compassionate eyes. When no longer bound by greed, we know how to cherish what we have. And when no longer obsessed by blame, we can live peacefully in every present moment. Life has many storms, but every sky eventually clears. If we know how to keep virtue, know how to let go of karma, then peace will naturally find us. Because true happiness lies not in how much we have, but in how much we have let go. When the shoulders are light, the steps will be leisurely, and the soul will be like clear water reflecting the pure sky. Living a life of inner peace is the aspiration of almost every human being. But not everyone knows how to reach that shore. People often think that peace means a life with no more incidents, no more worries. But actually, peace is not avoiding storms, but maintaining calmness right within those storms. It is not the absence of difficulties, but the presence of a soul strong enough and clear enough not to be swept away. Inner peace is the inevitable result when we know how to keep virtue and let go of karma like to ladder rungs supporting us to step up to a light, profound, and love-filled life. Keeping virtue is the root. A tree can reach high amidst a storm not because its trunk is hard, but because its roots eat deep into the earth, sucking nutrients to nourish the whole body. Human virtue is the same, a solid foundation for each person to stand firm in life. A person with virtue needs no advertising words. Light naturally radiates from them, making anyone who contacts them feel trust and peace of mind. Keeping virtue is keeping the mind pure, keeping the heart open, keeping every action and word from hurting others and from causing one's conscience to be tormented. I heard a simple but profound story. There was a farmer living in a poor countryside, working hard all year round, but always ready to help neighbors. Once his harvest failed, rice wasn't enough to eat, yet he still set aside a meager portion of rice to share with a lonely neighbor. People asked why he didn't keep it for himself when his family was also in difficulty. He just smiled gently. Keeping a little for myself wouldn't be enough, but sharing a little becomes kindness. The virtue from that farmer's heart didn't need gold or silver for comparison, because it sowed faith and warmth in others' hearts, and then he himself received love and help when in trouble. Keeping virtue, in the end, is keeping the light for oneself amidst the darkness of life. If keeping virtue is the root, then letting go of karma is the path. In life, everyone stumbles at times, sometimes due to their own mistakes, sometimes due to circumstances pushing them. Every mistake, every hurt creates a karma that we carry. There are light karmas we easily forget. But there are also heavy karmas like a rock hanging suspended on the shoulder making steps tired. Letting go of karma is not escaping responsibility, but learning to accept, forgive, and dare to put down unnecessary burden so the soul can be lighter. A friend of mine failed in business, piling up debt to the point where he thought of giving up everything. In those dark days, he didn't resort to resentment or hatred, but viewed it as a karmic result he had to pay. He said, "If I view this as a lesson, I will mature. If I view this as punishment, I will only see life as unfair." And he chose to learn again from the beginning. A few years later, he not only rebuilt his fortune, but more importantly, his soul was calmer before all incidents. He no longer feared failure, no longer worried excessively, because he knew that everything that comes and goes has its own causes and conditions and karmic results. Letting go of karma is actually a wisdom. It demands we bravely look straight at what happened, accept things that cannot be changed, and actively transform ourselves. A person who knows how to let go of karma will not live forever in the shadow of the past or be obsessed by the fear of the future. They choose to live fully in the present so that every passing moment is a new opportunity to do it again, to live better. And when we keep virtue and let go of karma, inner peace will come as a natural result. Inner peace is not living in a world without storms, but maintaining calmness amidst those storms. Amidst winning and losing, we keep the mind unwavering. Amidst gossip, we keep the heart without resentment. Amidst loss, we still keep a smile. A Zen master once said, "People suffer because they hold too tight. When they know how to let go, they find they can walk leisurely." Indeed, in life, we often hold on to too many unintentional words, suspicious looks, past mistakes, and fears not yet arrived. All those things are like small stones we put in our backpack. The further we go, the heavier the backpack. Only when we have enough courage to put it down can we walk on lightly. A person at peace is not someone who doesn't meet difficulties, but someone who knows how to smile before difficulties. They understand that life is impermanent. If there is joy, there is sadness. If there is meeting, there is parting. If there is success, there is failure. They don't run away from reality, nor sink into suffering, but choose to receive it all with a calm state of mind. I once met an old person in a small village, over 80, living alone in a simple thatched house. His life had gone through so many fluctuations: war, loss of loved ones, years of poverty. But when I asked him, "Do you feel your life is suffering?" he just smiled gently. Suffering, everyone suffers, but I still get to watch the sun every morning, still hear birds singing, still have legs to walk to the field. That is enough for me. His peaceful smile was like a reminder that happiness is not having a lot, but knowing enough, knowing how to cherish things one has. Living in peace does not mean leaving things to fate or giving up. On the contrary, it is a proactive choice, proactively choosing to live kindly, to keep virtue, proactively choosing to forgive and accept, to let go of karma, proactively keeping the mind calm so as not to be swept away by storms. Inner peace is strength at the deepest level. When humans have enough wisdom to understand that nothing is forever, but every moment is precious to live fully, looking back, keeping virtue, letting go of karma, living in peace are not three distant concepts, but three closely linked ladder rungs. Keeping virtue helps us have a solid root. Letting go of karma helps us have light steps. And from there, inner peace will naturally bloom in the soul like a flower, giving off fragrance amidst the dust of the mortal world. Life is inherently short. When closing eyes and letting hands drop, we cannot bring money, fame, or status. What remains is only the mark in others' hearts, how kindly we live, how we let go, and how much peace we had. So choose to live each day meaningfully, keep virtue as the root, learn to let go of karma to lighten the heart, and find your way to inner peace to open the soul. At that time, though life still has many storms, we can still smile like a lotus blooming in the mud, pure, gentle, and complete. Living in peace is a concept that seems simple, but achieving it is not easy, because amidst the rushing stream of life, we are often busy running after great things and accidentally forget the small joys right beside us. People often mistakenly think that happiness can only come when we have a lot of money, fame, or brilliant achievements. However, when we stop to listen to our own heartbeat and breath, we realize that happiness sometimes lies only in a simple meal gathered with loved ones, an early morning hearing bird singing on the branch, or a quiet afternoon watching the red sun gradually disappearing behind the distant mountain range. Precisely those seemingly small things, if we know how to cherish and open our hearts to receive them, will bring us the deepest peace. A meditation teacher once told me that happiness is not a destination, but a journey. Just need to keep a smile every day, keep gratitude in the heart, and you are already living happily. That teaching sounds simple, but is the encapsulation of the spirit of inner peace. Indeed, happiness is not a stop we have to struggle to find. It is present in every footstep, every breath, every moment we are living. The problem is only whether we are quiet enough to realize it or not. I remember once meeting an old man sitting on the porch of a small house in the suburbs. He only had a small garden growing vegetables, some chickens. Life wasn't surplus, but on his face a gentle smile always radiated. When chatting, he said, "Every morning, hearing the rooster crow, seeing the sun shine on the porch, I already feel peace in my heart. Every day still getting to eat a meal cooked by my own hands, seeing children and grandchildren healthy, that is enough." In that simplicity, I learned that happiness does not lie in how much we get, but in feeling enough with what we have. Conversely, there are people who spend their whole lives laboring to seek happiness in fame and money. They think that only by achieving this goal, buying that house, getting that status, will happiness come. But then when they have it all, they feel empty, because peace cannot be bought with material things. It only blooms in a soul that knows how to stop, knows how to feel, and knows gratitude. Perhaps that is also the reason why many wealthy people still feel lonely, while ordinary people with a hot meal and a sincere smile find life sweet in everyday moments. If we spend time listening and observing, we will see life still has many things worth cherishing. It can be the worried eyes of a mother when her child tows far away, the rough hands of a father still working diligently every day, the chirping calls of children in the neighborhood every afternoon after school. Those things are not luxurious, not noisy, but are the very roots of happiness. When knowing how to preserve and cherish, we see that we don't need to look far. Happiness has always been right within reach. Once I joined a charity trip to a distant mountainous region. There, children went to school in worn-out slippers, clothes patched all over. Yet when receiving a new notebook, they smiled radiantly as if receiving the most precious gift. Looking at that smile, I suddenly realized inner peace is not when we have a lot, but when we know how to cherish what we have. A new notebook may be a small thing to one person, but a huge joy to another. Living in peace is also learning how to let go of useless calculations and comparisons. Many times we are tired not because the work is too heavy, but because we keep comparing ourselves with others. Someone has more money, we feel we are losing out. Someone has a more prosperous life, we feel we are unhappy. But everyone has a different journey, a different karma. Comparing only makes the heart cramp. When we know how to be content with the present, focus on nurturing the soul instead of chasing vanity, we will realize happiness has never left us. A friend of mine suffered a heavy failure in business. At first, he fell into despair, feeling he lost everything. But after a while, he gradually found balance again. He practiced spending more time with his family, growing vegetables with his wife and children, cooking, reading books. He said, "I realized that before I was too busy making money and forgot the simple things existing right there. Now I feel happy seeing my child smile, hearing my wife call for the meal." The peace he found after the incident came not from new success, but from knowing how to cherish every little thing in life. Inner peace also means knowing how to keep gratitude in the soul. When we are grateful for being healthy, we see busy work as a gift too. When we are grateful for having loved ones beside us, we see troubles in family relationships turning out to be insignificant. When we are grateful because every day there is still an opportunity to learn to love, we see life become richer. Gratitude is the key opening the door of inner peace, helping us not look at life with gloomy eyes, but with a bright look full of love. Someone once compared happiness to our own shadow. If we keep diligently running after it, we will never catch up. But if we walk in the right direction, live true to our hearts, happiness will naturally follow. That right path is the path of sincerity, of gratitude, of inner peace. Every day just need to keep a smile and a wide open heart, and we are already walking on that path. Life is short. No one knows what tomorrow will be like. So inner peace is not a story of the distant future, but something we need to nurture right today. A simple meal, a smile of a loved one, a leisurely afternoon watching the clouds and sky. All can be happiness if we are quiet enough to realize. Don't wait for someday for happiness to arrive, because happiness has always been here in every moment, in every small thing of life. And perhaps the spirit of peace we seek is knowing how to live fully with the present, knowing how to cherish simple things, knowing how to let go of unnecessary things, and knowing how to preserve gratitude. At that time, we will see that happiness has never left. It is still beside us, just waiting for us to open our hearts to receive it. Keeping virtue, letting go of karma, living in peace. Three things seem separate, but act closely linked like three breaths of a human life, connecting and supplementing each other. People often seek happiness outside, but the more they run after it, the more disappointed they feel. Actually, happiness has never been something too far away. It only originates from the very way we live every day. Keeping virtue is the foundation, letting go of karma is the training, and living in peace is the sweet fruit that acts like a nurturing cycle, helping humans walk leisurely amidst the stream of life which has many storms, to then realize that true happiness lies not in how much one has but in how light one's mind is. The ancients often taught with virtue. One eats without end, considering virtue the root of being human. Keeping virtue is living so as not to be ashamed before one's heart, not to betray human affection, keeping the heart sincere and upright. A person may not be rich, not have status, but if they have virtue, they will always be respected by the world. I once met an old man in the countryside, living a simple life all his years, working as a tire repairman by the road. He wasn't wealthy at all, but everyone in the village loved him. The reason was simply that he never took extra money from anyone, sometimes even fixing for free for poor students. Many people said the old man left no great assets, but left love for the whole village. That is keeping virtue, the capital that doesn't wear out, but the more you give, the fuller it gets. If we don't keep virtue, we easily fall into the cycle of creating karma. Karma is not only the result of great wrong actions, but also comes from small daily thoughts. A lie can create suspicion. A fit of anger can crack a relationship. A selfish act can distance human hearts. Sometimes just a contemptuous look or a loose sentence spoken in anger has already sown karma. So keeping virtue is the fence preventing us from stepping on to that path. Virtue is like a compass reminding us to go in the right direction, so that every action originates from a good heart, not causing harm to anyone, and not going against oneself. However, even when keeping virtue in life, everyone creates karma more or less. Because humans are inherently not perfect, everyone makes mistakes at times, and at that time the most needed lesson is letting go of karma. Letting go here is not denying responsibility, but learning how to put down resentment, blame, and greed. The Buddha once compared hatred to a fire that will first burn the heart of the person holding it. There is a story about the monk carrying the girl across the river. He put her down right at the river bank, but the student kept hugging it in his mind, thinking the teacher broke the precept. Finally, the monk just said, "I put that girl down already. Why are you still carrying her until now?" That answer is truly simple but profound. Many times we tie ourselves with the past with sorrow, while everything has passed long ago. I used to know a sister who, after a marriage incident, lived many years in resentment. She blamed her husband, blamed life, and every day was heavy. But then on a visit to a temple, she heard the sentence, "Forgiveness is not for others, but for oneself." She started practicing meditation, practicing putting down. Bit by bit, she discarded complaints, stopped bringing up old stories, and strangely, the smile returned to her lips. Her heart was also lighter. Letting go of karma, after all, is liberating oneself first. When having kept virtue and knowing how to let go of karma, the sweet fruit we receive is living in peace. Inner peace does not mean a life with no more storms, but that in storms one still maintains calmness. Some lose their jobs and consider it the ultimate misfortune, but others view it as an opportunity to start over with a more suitable job. Some, when criticized, hug anger forever, but others just smile to let the wind carry it away because they understand that others' words do not define their value. Inner peace is when not letting gain and loss shake you too much, not letting praise and criticism sway you, not letting the past or future blur the present. A friend of mine failed heavily in business, piling up debt. He said at first he collapsed, but then thought perhaps this was the karma he had to pay. Instead of complaining, he chose to calmly pay the debt bit by bit, while starting over. A few years later, he not only overcame difficulties, but became calmer and happier than before. He said, "I learned that inner peace is not avoiding incidents, but not letting incidents destroy my mind. Living in peace also means knowing how to cherish every small moment. A meal with family, an afternoon quietly watching clouds and sky, a smile of a loved one that is true happiness." But we often overlook those simple things, only busy running after great things. Like when drinking coffee, many people only look at the cup and forget to enjoy the flavor. If we keep focusing on the cup, meaning external forms, we will forget the rich flavor that life brings. Inner peace is learning how to sip that flavor without worrying too much about things out of reach. Keeping virtue, letting go of karma, living in peace. Those three things form a cycle nourishing each other. If not keeping virtue, we easily cause karma. If not letting go of karma, we will never be at peace. And only when at peace do we clearly see why keeping virtue and letting go are so important. Keeping virtue is like the root, letting go is like weeding, and inner peace is like sweet fruit. Thanks to that, human life truly becomes valuable, peaceful, and happy. Ultimately, life is not long, no one brings money or fame along. After closing eyes, only the echo of character remains of how we lived. If keeping virtue, we won't be ashamed before our hearts. If knowing how to let go of karma, we will be light on our shoulders. If knowing how to live in peace, we will see each day as a gift. At that time, happiness is no longer far away, but present right in every breath, every footstep, every peaceful smile. And that is the greatest gift each person can give themselves in this short but precious journey. Amidst the ceaseless flow of life, everyone wishes to find a place of peace for themselves, a place where the soul is leisurely, the heart no longer heavy with competition, gossip, or resentment. But having that peace is not something that comes naturally. It is the result of a whole journey of cultivation, keeping virtue, letting go of karma, and sowing love in the family and work. In society, these three elements always intertwine, illuminate, and support each other. And only when knowing how to harmonize all three can we live a truly meaningful life, truly peaceful in the family. Keeping virtue is a solid foundation for parents to set an example for children. The ancients once said, family tradition is the base, order is the root. Children learn from parents, not only through words, but also from how parents live and behave every day. A father who knows how to keep his word, a mother who knows how to live benevolently and tolerantly are shining examples for children to follow. I once witnessed a small family in the countryside. Life wasn't surplus, but parents always kept filial piety, living in harmony with neighbors. Once during a simple meal, the father taught his child, material things may be few, but the heart is ample. Just need to know how to respect superiors and yield to inferiors. Live kindly, then never worrying about hunger or suffering. That teaching is not only a lesson on morality, but also a priceless gift passed down to future generations. But in a family, it's not always calm. Conflicts and disagreements are hard to avoid, from small things like meals and parenting to big things like money and responsibility. If everyone wants to keep the winning part, if everyone hugs their ego tightly, the family will gradually crack. Letting go of karma here is learning how to forgive, yield, not letting small collisions turn into a deep abyss of separation. There are couples who, because of an unintentional word, hold a grudge for a whole month, letting affection fade. Conversely, there are pairs who know that if the husband is angry, the wife speaks less. When the rice boils, lower the fire, knowing how to choose silence at the right time, knowing how to let go of the ego to keep harmony. Then the family becomes even more bonded, and precisely from that forgiveness and letting go, the whole house will find inner peace, the warm feeling of returning to a place where everyone knows how to love and cherish each other. No matter how stormy is out there in work, keeping virtue is working transparently, not deceiving, not relying on tricks to achieve short-term benefits. A person with talent but lacking virtue will sooner or later lose trust from colleagues and partners. Conversely, a person who works ordinarily but maintains honesty, always doing their best, will create sustainable prestige. I remember a story about a worker in a factory. Once he discovered a machine malfunction. Instead of hiding it to avoid trouble, he reported it immediately to his superior. At first, many thought he was too straightforward, but thanks to that, the whole line avoided a major incident. It was that keeping of virtue in work that made him respected by colleagues and trusted by superiors. Walking alongside keeping virtue, letting go of karma in work is even more important. In the workplace, competition and comparison are hard to avoid. This person is rewarded. That person is promoted. If holding jealousy and envy in the heart, oneself will remain forever tired. Letting go of karma here is not nitpicking petty rivalries, not letting one's heart be entangled by winning and losing. Instead of bothering about others' success, focus on doing your part well. A friend of mine once said, "The day I stop comparing myself with colleagues was also the day I worked more effectively and comfortably indeed." When we are no longer bound by jealousy, the mind will be light, work will naturally be favorable, and inner peace in work is the feeling of satisfaction when we have tried our best with no regrets. No matter what the result is in the vast society, keeping virtue is living kindly, not harming anyone, not trampling on others for personal benefit. Society is like a mirror. Every action of ours leaves a trace in the hearts of people around. A person living deceitfully may succeed for a moment, but sooner or later will bear the consequences. Conversely, a person living kindly, silently sowing good seeds will receive trust and respect. I once met an old woman selling water by the road. Although only selling cheap iced tea, she always kept honesty. Whoever gave extra money, she returned it. Whoever was in difficulty, she was ready to offer a free cup. Many people said she was foolish, but it was that foolishness that made passers-by love her, finding her shop not only for the tea, but also for the warm kindness. Letting go of karma in society is knowing how to yield, not fighting for meaningless wins and losses. Gossip, praise, and criticism never end. If we keep letting our hearts be shaken by the world's tongues, we will forever live in insecurity. The ancients taught, one entrance is 9 blessings. That entrance and letting go are not cowardice, but inner strength, helping us keep our hearts peaceful amidst a complex life. When each person knows how to reduce a bit of attachment, a bit of fighting, society will be much more peaceful, and inner peace and community life is the atmosphere of harmony, where everyone feels easy to breathe, easy to live because everyone contributes with their kindness. Looking back, keeping virtue, letting go of karma, living in peace are not lofty philosophies, but just simple actions in daily life. In the family, it is a hug instead of blame. In work, it is honesty instead of tricks. In society, it is a word of empathy instead of judgment. Those small things, if maintained, will create great changes to make life lighter and warmer. Life is short. Finally, we cannot bring assets, fame, or status. What remains is only the character we lived, the affection we sowed, the peace we left for ourselves and others. So choose to live a life keeping virtue as the root, letting go of karma to lighten the heart, and aiming for inner peace as the destination. Then, even if there are storms out there, inside our hearts, there is still a peaceful sky where smiles always bloom, and the soul is always radiant like the sun after the rain. Life is inherently short, fragile like a passing breeze. There are mornings we wake up, still breathing, still seeing sunlight through the door, hearing birds chirping on the porch, yet haven't had time to say thanks to life because no one knows for sure what tomorrow will be like. This moment, this second is truly precious, and in that finite journey, the important thing is not how much money we gather, how much fame we touch, but how we lived, what we left in others' hearts. Precisely because of that, keeping virtue so the heart is pure, letting go of karma so the mind is light, and living in peace so every day is a memorable day, is perhaps the simplest secret for a human life to become complete. Keeping virtue is first of all keeping the purity of the soul. Virtue is not something lofty, but lies in every gesture, every daily choice. One may not be wealthy or noble, but if living sincerely, uprightly, and kindly, they have sown good seeds into life. I used to know an aunt selling goods near my house. She didn't have much besides a small stall, yet everyone passing by wanted to stop, not because the goods were cheap or abundant, but because of her gentle smile and honesty. Once a customer gave extra money, she returned it immediately and just smiled. Money is hard for everyone to earn. How dare I keep it? Perhaps in a poor life, she didn't leave much property for her descendants, but she left them the respect of the whole neighborhood, and that is the priceless legacy. People often say with virtue, one eats without end, not to encourage passivity, but to remind that lasting blessings can only come from a pure character. Along with keeping virtue, we also need to learn how to let go of karma, the invisible burdens you pile on our shoulders. Karma is not only actions in the past, but also resentments, attachments, things we cannot put down. Some people, just because of an unintentional sentence, hold it in their hearts for many years, then bleed themselves with that very wound. Some people were betrayed once and close their hearts tightly, walking in resentment all their lives. But the more we hug, the more we hurt, the more we hold, the more tired we are. Like holding a thorn in hand, the tighter you squeeze, the more it bleeds. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting everything, nor is it denial, but allowing oneself to step past, allowing the heart to rest. I remember the story of the monk carrying the girl across the river, putting her down long ago, yet the novice still carried her in his mind. We are the same. There are things that have passed, but the mind hasn't let go, so suffering remains. Only when we know how to let go does the burden truly fall, and we gently continue the journey. And finally, living in peace is the art of turning every day into a memorable day. Inner peace is not being indifferent to life, nor running away from reality, but knowing how to face everything with calmness amidst a noisy, hustling society. A person who knows inner peace is someone who still keeps a small, peaceful corner in their heart. A simple meal with family, an afternoon strolling under the trees, a hot cup of tea on the porch. Those things, if cherished, can all become happiness. I once met a friend who chased work to exhaustion, thinking only when successful would she be at peace. But after an incident, she chose to return to small joys, planting flowers in front of the door, reading books every night, spending time playing with her child. She said now she understands happiness has never been far. It has always been here, It's just that before she was too busy to see. That sentence made me think forever, because truly happiness is not far away. It exists right in every breath, every footstep, just waiting for us to stop and realize, living like that, life is no longer a burden. We no longer worry about the past, no longer fear the future, but dwell in the present. Past, whether beautiful or sad, as past, cannot be changed. Future, whether bright or dim, has not arrived, cannot be predicted. What we truly have is only this moment. When eating, be complete with the meal. When talking, listen with the whole heart. When walking under the trees, let the cool wind seep into the soul within that dwelling. Happiness blooms. I remember a morning passing a park, seeing an old man sitting quietly watching the sun, light shining on a face full of wrinkles, but brightening up a smile. Perhaps he no longer had many worries about fame, no longer sought wealth, but was just enjoying the morning sun. That moment I suddenly realized that happiness is actually that simple. We keep looking for something huge and forget that joy can lie just in tiny things, in the way we look at and receive life. Keeping virtue, letting go, and inner peace. Three things seemingly separate, but actually linked tightly like three breaths of a human life. Keeping virtue so the heart is pure, thereby sowing good causes. Letting go so the mind is light, not bound by past hatred. And living in peace to live fully in every moment, so that every day is a gift.